If you're watching this video right now, then I'm about to reveal the #1 single best acquisition system that exists on planet Earth. Well, that's what it's titled. Well, guess what? I'm not going to give you the best acquisition system. In fact, there is no best acquisition system, and I want to tell you a story. Back in 2016, when I first started out as an online fitness coach, I used to look at these names of the unique mechanisms that were being marketed to me on Facebook and Instagram. There was like the ABC acquisition method and the conveyor belt method and the vacuum lead magnet method. And I remember I would just mentally masturbate over these fancy methods, these fancy names. And I had this thought that like, this is the bee's knees, this is the be or end all, this is like the magical system that's going to, completely transform the trajectory of my business. And what I realized over the years, now being in the game for 8 years, is that everything works. The Facebook group funnel works, the ManyChat funnel works, the challenges work, VSLs, webinars work, direct call to actions work, everything works. But the reason why they don't work for some people and they work for others is simply because the people that it works for have gone through this process of failing, of getting data through their ad campaign, of optimizing, of analyzing. And there's this triangle. And I think it was Dan Henry that talks about this, is that we perform an input, right, which is the action. And then based on this input, there's going to be an output, which is a result. And most people are stuck with, they perform the action, they get the input, they get the result, and then they allow their emotions to spiral out of control, and they miss the very third piece, which is analyzation. So when you perform an action, you get a result. Unless you analyze that data and analyze that result and look for the bottleneck that's restricting conversions inside of your marketing and sales process, you're always going to be on this hamster wheel of looking for new shiny objects, new acquisition systems, thinking that they're going to save you. But the thing that's going to save you is having the awareness and the perspective and the nuance to be able to understand the data that is in front of you from the ad campaign, from the actions that you input, right? And taking that data, analyzing it without being attached to the emotional aspect of it, having a look at it logically, and then making a decision based on what that data is telling you. And then again, we perform a different action because now we have a new level of awareness around that data. And because that action is different, the result for the next week is going to be different once again. And again, we look at that data, we analyze the data, we look for the bottlenecks that are restricting conversions inside of our process, and then we perform another action. And hopefully, it's a better action than the week previous. And if you adopt your marketing process, your sales process, your client delivery systems, if you approach every single aspect of your business with this mindset, with this frame of I perform an input, that input is going to produce an output, a result. And then we have a look at that result, we analyze the data, we have a look at how can we improve these conversions or that conversion, or how can we unblock that bottleneck? And then we change the action and tweak the action for the week ahead. We can only improve and get 1% better every single day, every single week. Yet, I see especially so many new coaches, they come into this industry and they're sold on this method. They're sold on this system, this funnel that has a fancy name, the unicorn funnel, right? The moneymaker funnel, the rainmaker system. And they believe inside of their mind that this is the magical thing that's going to help them scale to, 10K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month, whatever the number is, right? But I want you to understand that there is no magical system. Unless you can analyze data, remove the emotion, and look at things from a 10,000 foot overview from a logical perspective, unless you have nuance to understand what the data is telling you, then you'll never actually get the breakthrough no matter what acquisition system you run with. So quick rant from me for today, but I'm just so tired of seeing newbie coaches coming into the industry and being married to one specific system, being married to one specific strategy to grow their business, thinking that it's going to be the be-all, end-all, when it's actually not. I have tested VSLs, challenges, paid and free, right? I've tested Facebook group funnels, ManyChat funnels, direct call to action funnels. I've tested everything under the sun, and everything works to some extent. But I've given up on certain acquisition systems before I got the breakthrough on, for example, a challenge funnel, right? I might iterate on a challenge funnel for 1 month or 2 months, and then I just get sick of it. I get shiny object syndrome, and now I'm sold on the next thing. It's just like getting into a relationship. You are in a relationship for 2 years, then you start to argue with your partner. And what happens? You tell yourself, fuck, this isn't how it's supposed to be. Relationships shouldn't be like this. And then you break up with her only to be met with the same freaking problem when you meet a new girl 2 years later down the track once again. And the same applies with your marketing system. The same applies with your sales process. The same applies with your client delivery systems. Unless you can have a look at this whole landscape from a 10,000 foot overview and understand this triangle of input, action, output, result, analyze the data so that we can change the result for the next week in the future to improve upon those conversions, unblock the bottlenecks, you're never going to get ahead. It's a very hard lesson that I had to learn, and I hope that by sharing this lesson with you, it gives you some perspective to know that there is no magical system out there. The magic is in your mind. The magic is inside of the perspective that you have to be able to remove the emotion, analyze and understand what the data is telling you so that you can constantly course correct to consistently improve the results inside of your process, inside of your business. So that is it from me today. What did you take away from this? I would love to know. Let me know down below in the comments. But apart from that, I will see you very soon. Take care.